Have you ever felt like someone around you constantly puts themselves at the center of everything, as if the entire world revolves around them? Or perhaps, at times, you've found yourself doing the same. Low-grade narcissism is not a pathological disorder, but it often sneaks into our lives unnoticed, shaping our relationships and interactions. When we find ourselves in a constant effort to elevate our own importance, we lose touch with reality and become trapped in illusions. This is where Stoicism comes in. How can we manage our narcissistic tendencies while striving for emotional balance and mental tranquility? In this video, we'll explore the answer to that question and discover how to move towards a more peaceful life. Low-grade narcissism often does not warrant a clinical diagnosis, but it can still create significant challenges in our relationships with others. These tendencies manifest as an incessant need to be the center of attention, disregarding others' needs, and placing an inflated value on oneself. However, this mindset prevents genuine happiness and inner peace. Here, a philosophical approach like Stoicism can serve as a vital guide for recognizing ourselves more clearly and leading a balanced life. The Stoics emphasize the importance of controlling the impact that external factors and emotions have on us. One of the fundamental principles of Stoicism is distinguishing between what is within our control and what is not. Narcissistic tendencies, such as the constant urge to focus on ourselves, challenge the Stoic way of living, which promotes tranquility and balance. Placing too much importance on things beyond our control, constantly seeking approval, or comparing ourselves to others ultimately disrupts our inner peace. Stoicism offers us ways to recognize and overcome these tendencies. One of the most obvious characteristics of narcissistic tendencies is the constant need for self-glorification and the belief that one is superior to those around them. This can lead us to disconnect from reality. The effort to create an idealized image of ourselves prevents us from accepting who we truly are. The Stoics, however, stress the importance of accepting reality as it is, of knowing and embracing ourselves, flaws and all. According to Stoic teachings, when we are honest with ourselves and free ourselves from such illusions, we can find true peace. Epictetus once said, "If you wish to discover who you truly are, stop listening to how others define you." This quote can be a powerful key for anyone looking to overcome low-grade narcissism. When we fall into the trap of glorifying ourselves, we begin to evaluate our worth through others' eyes, which leads us down a path filled with illusions. Stoicism helps us see beyond this self-glorification, enabling us to discover our intrinsic value and embrace our true selves. Low-grade narcissism often stems from childhood traumas that continue to affect us into adulthood, shaping defense mechanisms that make us defensive, angry, and insecure towards others. As a defense mechanism, narcissism is like a shield we develop to protect ourselves. However, over time, this shield isolates us from genuine relationships, deep bonds, and inner peace. Stoic philosophy offers us ways to lower that shield and cultivate a more realistic, peaceful state of mind. The Stoics emphasize the importance of recognizing how our thoughts shape us. As we frequently see in the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, our thoughts influence our emotions and, consequently, our behavior. If our thoughts are built around glorifying ourselves, proving superiority, or constantly seeking approval, they will inevitably lead us to loneliness and dissatisfaction. Stoicism guides us to recognize such harmful thoughts and change them, helping us stop narcissistic reactions and approach ourselves and others more fairly and calmly. Overcoming low-grade narcissism starts with being brutally honest with ourselves. To do so, we can ask ourselves some Stoic-inspired questions. How much do I need others to glorify or belittle me, or is my self-worth tied to others' approval? By answering these questions honestly, we can come to better understand ourselves and take the first steps towards overcoming narcissistic tendencies. The Stoics believed that we could achieve inner peace by accepting life's challenges and focusing on how we respond to them. Applying these Stoic principles can be a powerful tool in overcoming the difficulties created by narcissistic tendencies. For example, how do you respond when someone criticizes you? Do you take it as a personal attack, or do you see it as constructive feedback? The Stoic approach helps us accept criticism without taking it personally or reacting emotionally, which is crucial in overcoming narcissistic tendencies. Narcissism leads us to create a world filled with illusions about ourselves, whereas Stoicism helps us dismantle those illusions and return to the real world, to our true selves. This process can often be painful because facing and overcoming our narcissistic tendencies means accepting our flaws and weaknesses. However, the Stoics believed that this confrontation would ultimately make us stronger and more at peace. Stoicism also teaches us how to transform narcissistic tendencies once we recognize them. Being compassionate towards ourselves, accepting ourselves as we are instead of constantly elevating or defending ourselves, is an essential part of this journey. By looking at ourselves honestly and acknowledging our mistakes and shortcomings, we open the door to true freedom. This is the key to shedding narcissistic defenses and building a more authentic self. Another crucial question we need to ask ourselves is, why am I constantly seeking approval? By answering this question honestly, we can uncover the true reasons behind our narcissistic tendencies. Often, these reasons stem from emotional deprivations or traumas experienced during childhood. Stoicism teaches us not to let these past traumas define us, but rather to learn from them and build a stronger self. Overcoming narcissistic tendencies helps us become more understanding and compassionate not only towards ourselves but also towards those around us. Developing empathy for others and accepting them as they are is a significant step in battling narcissism. The Stoics taught that the anger we feel towards others actually stems from our own inner weaknesses. Thus, being more tolerant towards the people around us also helps us strengthen our own sense of self. If any of this resonates with you, take a moment to reflect. Have you noticed similar patterns in your life or those around you? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective and foster a deeper discussion about overcoming narcissistic tendencies through Stoic wisdom. One practical way to incorporate Stoic principles into everyday life is by practicing negative visualization. The Stoics often spoke of imagining worst-case scenarios, not as a way of indulging fear, but as a way of grounding ourselves in gratitude for what we currently have. When we are constantly seeking approval and validation, we lose sight of what we already possess. Negative visualization helps us counterbalance this by reminding us of the value of our present circumstances. It can be a powerful tool for reducing the influence of narcissistic tendencies by shifting our focus from what we lack to what we have. Another practice to help overcome low-grade narcissism is journaling. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoics, regularly wrote in his journal as a way of understanding his own thoughts and emotions. Writing down our experiences, feelings, and reactions allows us to objectively analyze them. Are we acting out of a need for attention or validation? Are we holding on to feelings of superiority? Journaling offers a clear lens through which we can observe our actions and motivations, helping us identify and reduce narcissistic tendencies over time. The Stoics also placed great emphasis on the concept of sympathia, the idea that we are all interconnected. Understanding that our well-being is linked to the well-being of others helps us move beyond a self-centered viewpoint. When we practice sympathia, we begin to see others not as competitors but as companions on the journey of life. This shift in perspective can help us let go of the constant need to elevate ourselves above others, replacing it with a sense of unity and shared purpose. Consider how you interact with those closest to you, friends, family, or colleagues. Do you find yourself needing to prove your worth to them or seeking their validation? Reflecting on our interactions can reveal where our narcissistic tendencies are most prevalent. This awareness is the first step in changing those patterns. Instead of seeking validation, focus on contributing positively to the relationship. The Stoics taught that virtue is its own reward. Acting with kindness and integrity towards others brings fulfillment that external validation cannot provide. The concept of amor fati, or loving one's fate, is another powerful Stoic tool. Amor fati is the acceptance and love of everything that happens in our lives, whether good or bad. By embracing amor fati, we can stop viewing our lives through a lens of constant comparison and competition. Instead of feeling envious of others' success or obsessing over our perceived shortcomings, we learn to accept and appreciate our own journey. This acceptance diminishes the need for narcissistic validation and helps us cultivate a more grounded and grateful outlook. If you have ever found yourself overly fixated on how others perceive you, try to practice mindfulness and presence. The Stoics often spoke of focusing on the present moment, as it is the only time over which we have control. Narcissistic tendencies thrive when we dwell too much on the past, ruminating over perceived slights, or on the future, worrying about how we will be viewed. By grounding ourselves in the present, we can reduce the power these tendencies have over us. Pay attention to what is happening right now and how you can respond in a way that aligns with your values rather than seeking external approval. Engage in acts of kindness without expecting anything in return. The Stoics believed in living a life of virtue, and one of the greatest virtues is generosity. When we help others selflessly, we weaken our narcissistic tendencies, which are often fueled by a need to get something in return, whether it's praise, recognition, or validation. Acts of kindness allow us to shift our focus outward, reminding us that our value does not come from what we can extract from others, but from what we can contribute to the world. In conclusion, we have much to learn from Stoic philosophy when it comes to dealing with low-grade narcissism and leading a more balanced life. Stoicism provides a pathway for overcoming narcissistic tendencies by teaching us to control our thoughts, manage our emotions, and approach ourselves with uncompromising honesty. If you are ready to embark on this journey and understand yourself better, don't hesitate to apply the insights we've discussed in this video to your life. Incorporating the Stoic principles we've discussed here into your daily life can make a significant difference in establishing more peaceful and balanced relationships with yourself and others. Whether it's through journaling, practicing negative visualization, or engaging in acts of kindness, there are many tools available to help us diminish narcissistic tendencies and grow as individuals. If you found this content valuable, please like this video and subscribe to my channel for more. Let's continue this journey together, share your experiences in the comments, and let's support one another. Stoic philosophy can not only bring individual peace but also help us achieve social harmony. Let's progress on this path together, opening doors to a more balanced and meaningful life.